Hello and welcome to A VO's Journey podcast. My name is Anthony Pica. This show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business, sidestep all the crazy things that this guy right here seems to step on. It is episode number 261. I'm back for another episode, and I have to say that I am not sad to see summer move on by and be done, because that was a rough summer. At least it felt like it. And I see things picking back up. And I want to talk to you today about priorities and your focus and just the importance of setting the right priorities and how many you should have. Right? How many daily priorities you should have. And I really think this makes all the difference in the world from someone who's successful and someone who's not with their voiceover business. All right, let's do it. This is VO's Journey. With your host, the incomparable Anthony Pica. It is fantastic to be talking to you again at the end of August. This is the 29th. And, I think that for me, I'm always battling internally. No matter when it's been over these past 6-7 years of my voiceover business, or through the, 30, God, not 30, please God, no, the 20 plus years of my adult life, of really struggling with priorities and focusing on the things that move the needle the most, right? The things that push our business forward and don't hold us back. This is one of those things where I like to use the term rabbit hole because I feel like I'm famous for going down rabbit holes and not focusing always on the priorities. And a lot of times it could be you might not know what the priorities are in your business to move your needle forward. And what does that even mean? And how do you set them? And what does that even look like? And I hope today I want to talk to you guys about that and hopefully give you just a little bit of a roadmap on what I'm talking about with your priorities and kind of what they should be, at least in my humble opinion, and how you should approach them. All right. So just real quick before we get into that, if you are looking, and I think that this conversation today is paramount to this too, is because I think a community is so important. And, we're offering 50% off the first month right now to check out a VO's Journey Elite Academy. And it is, I really do believe the community is incredible, supportive, the camaraderie, being able to ask questions at any time. We have such a vibrant and active community, as well as all of our live classes and pre-recorded classes and Academy Voices, everything that we offer. But the community is second to none, again, in my humble opinion. So check that out if you're looking to join and you really need a place to help you grow and have that support. Check that out. There's a link below to a VO's Journey Elite Academy. We'd love to have you. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about priorities and what exactly do I mean by that. So first and foremost, your number one job as a voice actor, that everything in your business revolves around and supports, is you getting voiceover work. That has to be your number one goal. You would think doing the voiceovers or voice acting or your file management or your processing or your DAW, your equipment, your space, all of these things support you getting voiceover work, right? Because that one part of your business must happen. It must happen for everything else to support and to complete it. But without you on a daily basis prioritizing and focusing your efforts, right, on 1 to 3 actions that get you business, the rest of everything you're doing is a waste of time. And priorities are one of those things where it's so easy, like I said earlier, to go down a rabbit hole. I have, throughout the course of this, gone through so many different rabbit holes where even to this day, I still struggle from time to time staying focused and making sure that my priorities are set and that I do 1 to 3 things consistently every day. And I'm going to tell you why. So there's the beginning part of this, and then there's the consistency part over time. The beginning part is you identifying what are those things that you need to do. So if logically I said to you, your job, all right, the priority of every voiceover actor is to get voiceover business. That's the main priority. Everything else is there to support it. Then you should be doing 1 to 3 actions a day that support getting business. Those actions could include, right, signing yourself up and putting yourself up on freelance and intermediate websites that passively, or that they market you, but you can passively market yourself on them because you don't have to do it directly, but you got to put yourself up on them. Auditions, ACX, Voices, Voice123, Podago, VoiceRealm, any of these places that are paid, okay, that where you're doing auditions. Email marketing, okay, directly reaching out to people and letting them know you exist, that you're open for business, right? That's another way for you to market yourself. All right. I think branding is a big part of this, especially on social media and so forth. But I do feel like branding is one of those things where I've seen so many of the voice actors I've worked with go down a rabbit hole on that one because they're just so concerned with what do I post? How do I post? And it becomes so sporadic, as well as you have to have a base and an infrastructure really in place before you start branding. Now, other people might disagree, and that's okay. I'm just saying from a realistic standpoint, you've got to make sure that you have, like, for example, a just fantastic website or a great funnel for when you market you're branding yourself through social media, that people have somewhere to go. Right. And that can be, now, if you've got that set up, then that is a great daily action to take. See, that's what one of the actions I take that I've got to do daily, and I struggle with this, and you'd think it wouldn't be, but which I'm going to talk about the consistency aspect next, but is making those posts, doing those auditions. That's got to be what you do daily. 1 to 3 actions that you take on a daily basis must be every single day taking action to get voiceover work. All the rest of the stuff, learning about this, recording that, doing XYZ, all of it is in support of you taking that action to get voiceover work. Now, as you are doing this and you are beginning, as I said, there's the first where you're starting out, but then there's the consistency part after you started out. Here's the reality. And I'm not going to lie, it can get tedious and boring. And the funny thing is you see the results, and oftentimes the correlation between the increase in your business, right, and the marketing efforts you take, a lot of times, unless you are an insane tracker, which is really beneficial in itself, right? Or an insane data collection, and you're just an analyst by heart, and then you're not going to feel, and I'm telling you this from personal experience, that the consistent work that you're doing on a daily basis really makes that big of a difference. Because someone might not say, hey, I heard your audition 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? And I decided to come back to, you don't always get that. Sometimes you do, but you don't always get all that information. And it's difficult sometimes to know. And then, you don't know, maybe they saw you post somewhere too after you auditioned for something, or after they saw you here, and then they saw you there, and then they saw your website, all these different things. You reached out to them. You might not have even known that you had that many touch points with them, but They do, and one thing led to another, which led them to want to work with you. These are the things that they are tough to measure all the time. And that's why I kind of like the snowball effect, right? So the things that you measure that really matter is the actions themselves, taking the actions themselves. And I've talked about this in the past when we go back to that the book called The Four Disciplines of productivity. Is it productivity? It's called The Four Disciplines of Goal Setting or something like that. Anyways, The Four Disciplines of Success. Maybe that's what it is. And but in the book, it talks about, your lead measures and lag measures, right? Lead measures meaning we're measuring actions that lead to the results, or the lagged that lag, then the lag measures lag behind the lead actions, right? Like you want to make, $10,000 a month. Right? Well, the actions that you need to take in order to get that $10,000 a month, we need to be able to know what those actions are and measure those actions and focus on those actions, not the $10,000 a month. Because once we get to the end of the month, you can't change whether or not you made the $10,000, right? Like whether the money is there or it's not. But the actions that you took can be measured and changed, you know what I mean? Because they have led you to that final measurement that you're doing, right, on the lag measurement, which is, how much money you made that month. So these actions, like the auditioning, like the posting, like the email marketing, like these activities, those are the ones that we really need to be measuring. But they can be mundane. It's not flashy. It's not like... it's funny, you doing something every single day at the same time over and over and over and over and over and over again. I mean, it is tedious. It's not so exciting all the time. But that's what separates people, because the results are incredible. They really are. And every time I have managed, and I laugh because it's the truth. Every time that and I know this is the hard part, you guys. And I'm sure maybe some of you are in the same boat. If you're at that place, you might not be at that place yet, but when you get there, you'll know what works. You'll know what works, but then you're battling yourself in the sense of, I know it works, but I don't want to just continue to do the same thing over and over again. Now, I'm not saying there's not tools or things that you can use to help leverage, but the reality is that simple consistency can take someone who has a mediocre job, just a mediocre rise to getting jobs, like jobs are everywhere, right? To someone who's getting jobs on a regular basis. That's what I think consistency really does and what it means. So if you're able to do that, and it's not hard, it really isn't, because once you start doing the actions, you do them, you finish them, you do them, you finish them, and that's your goal. Now, the voiceover work, the work that comes in, the money that comes in, all the other things that you do to support, that is, and it's funny, that's the support. But like, you'd be like, well, you mean the voiceovers themselves? Yes. In my opinion, the voiceovers themselves, that is support. We have to shift our mindset to think that it's not actually, the voiceover work is the fun part, right? We know that. A lot of us are here because we enjoy the voiceover work. Okay, but the actual job that we have, okay, is to get work through daily, consistent actions. The actions. It's so easy not to take, and it's so easy to get those muddled, right? With actions like, well, today I spent, and I'm not saying this is not important, because it is, but there's got to be a limit. But like, today I spent, hours learning about XYZ, then I tried it, then I got some new software, but then I realized the software I got, I didn't know about that, so it took me more time, and now I got to learn that, but now I need coaching on that, and then I need, like, you see where it's a tricky, some instances, right, like with the DAW, and we need to learn our DAW, clearly, but there's so many times where, there's situations where we just go, myself included, I've done it, where I just go down the rabbit hole with one thing leads to another, and I got to do this, and then I got to do that, and then I got to do that. All the meantime, I could have been doing simple things over here on this other area over here to actually get work. Okay, to probably pay for something that would have made what I was trying to do over here 10 times easier. But whether it's, easier for our minds sometimes to take a break or to do that's where we have to remember that our job is to take that daily action. And the support, the result, okay, is going to be getting jobs, making money, etc. But those getting jobs, making money, that's the result, right? That's not the actions. The actions are the actual things you're physically doing to get them done, and you must take them. I always thought it was interesting. I'm just using this as a bare bones example. All right, for better or for worse. If you go on ACX right now, you realize, I'm not saying you're going to make tons of money, okay? I'm not using this as an example. I'm just telling you. You could start auditioning with no samples, with no demo, with nothing, and you can actually get books, and you could actually audition until, either you ran out of auditions until the next day or whatever, or until you had no more time to audition anymore, and you would get work. Most likely you would get work. Okay, again, it may not be the best work that you want to get to start, but I'm saying that you could get, and you don't need this and you don't need that. Now, there is time for a better demo, and and those times will come up in your business, and you need to move forward when you need those things. But what I'm trying to say to you is that those things can't replace the work that you're doing at that moment to actually get voiceover jobs. Yes, can those better, like a better demo, better equipment, better space, can those get you better jobs? Absolutely, but they can't be in replacement of you trying at that moment still. Does that make sense? It should never be I'm doing only one and not the other. It should always be I am making the effort. And I hear people all the time say, well, Anthony, I heard so-and-so tell me that I shouldn't post a demo to this because it's a DIY demo, or I shouldn't do this and I shouldn't do that. And I've heard that too. And I think that to some extent, you know what I mean? If you don't have a community or somewhere that can give you honest feedback about what you've created, for all you know, you created a demo that's better than 95% of the people out there. You don't know, right? Unless you have a place to get feedback and a community that can do that as well. Like a VO's Journey Elite Academy or any other community that gives you honest feedback. Okay. That's, that is like-minded and is helpful, okay, and it's a positive community. Make sure whatever you do, join a positive community. That's very important. Positivity breeds action. Negativity, all right, breeds negativity and breeds inaction, okay? So just remember that. But, get that feedback, and then don't be afraid to do, take it. You can do it yourself too. You know what I mean? Now, I offer demos, and I love doing them, and I love helping people, and that's for some people. And I'm there for you. But then there's also people who do them themselves too. So all I'm trying to say is that don't let something stop you from remembering what the main priorities are. And that is every day you getting work. Okay, I think I've beat this nail on the head enough. And if you take something away from this, please, as you know, right? Take those 1 to 3 actions a day, no matter what you do, that is going to get you work. Everything else you do is in support of those 1 to 3 actions, all right? And those actions should include, it should include auditions, it should include getting yourself up on platforms that are marketing you, all right? It should include email marketing. It should include, you getting yourself out there in front of possible people who will buy voiceover from you. All right. Listen, guys, thank you so much again for listening. I really appreciate it. Check out Avio's Journey Elite Academy. Again, the link below for 50% off, or you can go to aviosjourney.com. And also, we've got our conference coming up, Avio's Journey Elite Conference 2023. That's in October 13th through the 15th. There'll also be a link below. But also, you can find that on aviosjourney.com website amongst a bunch of other training and all that jazz that we have for you there. So, love you guys to death. Thank you so much for listening. You have a wonderful Tuesday, and I will talk to you all soon. All right, everybody. Peace.